So, okay, well, I'll just give you a quick, a little tour. So these are some of the underglazes that I use on the work. So they're some very bright opaque glazes. This is the work that if I want something very specific on the piece I put on. These are some of the pieces that I own. Most of them are finished, some are abandoned, but most of these pieces are finished. And actually that very, very top piece I made at Moore College of Art. That is from, goodness gracious, I must have been like a junior when I made that very tiny piece. But it's still in my studio, so I care about it. Let's see, this is the clay that I work with, which is liquid clay. This is porcelain clay, it's liquid. This is a mold that I start my works out with, and then everything else I hand build. Don't work on the wheel. People think I do, but I don't. Let's see, over here, I will be expanding shortly because I collect glazes. So I have so many glazes that I need another bookshelf, but these are the fluid, gorgeous, runny glazes that I love to work with. Library. Over here are some pieces that are in process right now, various stages. This piece in particular, the bottom glaze has not been fired yet, and this is the other side. So this is a piece that's probably been fired probably around 18 or 19 times by now. I'm having a lot of fun on this piece because I've developed a new technique for myself, so it's very exciting. These pieces over here, this one in particular, I can tell you that, you could see it's very dirty and in process. There's glaze that needs to be fired still, and there's clay that I'm adding that hasn't been fired yet. But I will also be adding, I make test tiles of what the glaze looks like after it's been fired. So I take my test tile and I bring it over, and this helps me figure out what my next color will be. And I know that this is going to be filled with a beautiful liquid emerald green, but it also is going to have some of these little teeny pink balls that I've rolled. Part of the process is sitting here for hours rolling tiny little balls, which is important. Now this is considered to be one of my larger pieces, which I'm working on. It's at a very early stage. It's only been fired 1, 2, 3 times. Part of the process is thinking. A big part of working is thinking, and maybe not always doing handiwork on it, but thinking. So my thinking process the other day brought me to my mixing bowl, and I put the piece on there, and I was like, it got energized. So I was like, oh, okay, I know I need a base on the piece that's got to be smaller, because it's the juxtaposition of scale. So when something is very small on the bottom, it makes the top feel very awkward and larger than it really is. So these are thinking processes. What's going on? This piece is getting pretty close. Becoming very much about color fields and color blocks. But then again, so I'm thinking about color, and I'm thinking about different planes of color, but I'm still thinking about the body. And I'm thinking with this piece, somehow it's like a color factory somehow, and it's kind of spewing out these little teeny pieces of color. It's really having sort of like the burden of color on its back, but also the joy of color and making new color from it. This probably only makes sense to me because it's Kathy's world. This piece is considered also to be a larger piece, and you can see on the top I'm drawing with clay. I'm drawing with raw clay on it to figure out my next move. I'm a little bit at a loss right now as to what is going on. I love the form. I love the addition of that pink line on the bottom is vital to this piece, because it seems like the very delicate color pink is causing all the kerfluffle. So now I need something on the top, but I'm not sure what it is. So I'm just painting clay, which can be removed. These are really, this is how I work. It's like when I started the form, it was green on the outside, pink on the inside, and now I'm purposely like ruining areas so I have something to deal with, because the form is so beautiful that throws me off. So I need to kind of ruin it and then save it. And it will probably have some sort of base to it. This guy is, I realized today, I took it out of the kiln and it's almost done. It has about, I don't know, like 10 or 15 layers of different glaze on the bottom. So it's about a ½ inch thick of just glaze stuck under there, and I keep firing it. Very worried that someday the gravity will pull it off, but that's part of the excitement for me, is like this not knowing what's going to happen. But it's colored, a couple changes of color in some areas, and then it should be done. And then this this has been fired twice, and then once again I'm drawing on it with clay to try to figure out my next move. But right now you can see it's just a skin, it's just a shell of its being right now, so I have no idea. I don't do drawings, I don't do sketches of my work. It's all intuitive and process oriented, and so I have no idea where they're going. I'm as excited as anybody to see them done. Yeah, I never draw the works. If I draw them, then they're already done. It's really the process. It's just following. It's a riddle, and I have to solve it. It's a puzzle, and I have to kind of figure out the next move. It's a game. It's strategy, and yeah. And then did we look at my kilns? My kiln's over here. See, this is how you can have a studio in a, well, I have a large space, but in New York City, these are electric. This small one plugs into 120, so it just can go. I know, isn't that amazing? It can go. You can plug it. Not that I advise. Like, I would never advise like plugging it in your kitchen or anything. But you can just plug it into your wall and vent those fumes out, because we don't want that. But so anyway, they're just electric kilns, low, medium, high. I don't even use, I don't use a computer. I could, but I choose to try to keep things as simple as possible, because my process is so complicated. Low, medium, high is just fine for me. So
that's great.
How can you tell how many times you fired it? You were saying that before.
I used to keep notes, and now I don't even keep notes anymore. Well, yeah, I remember what I did. It's crazy. And now I've been documenting them with my iPhone. So I've been taking, which is so important to me. I forget, like, oh my God, I did that. Oh, good, that actually looked pretty good. Why did I do this next move? Or, oh, I'm so glad I did this next move. Or look at how innocent and naked it looked at this point, and now it's, so much more complicated. And like that first piece we looked at that I'm working on, it's like, it's got the weight of color. It's supporting the whole weight of all these like primary colors. But it's a joyful weight. Like, that's the piece I'm so into right now, because it's that first one that we looked at with, I'm calling them color collectors, but it's me, because I'm thinking about color all the time lately. It's this piece that's bending over, and it's kind of got like the backpack of colors on its back. It's like hoisting these colors and going through its life with all these color compartments on its back. But it's not a heavy burden, because they're joyful colors. So it's like, it's a burden, but it's a happy burden. That's me. Happy burdens. Yeah.